You're listening to Just a Dude podcast with your host, Nathan. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's roll. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Just a Dude in the News. I'm your host, Nathan, just a regular guy sifting through the chaos of the world to bring you the top stories that matter. We're diving into the biggest headlines in the United States from August 8th to August 15th, 2025. It's been a wild week, and everything from global summits to local tragedies are making waves. I've got the top 10 stories lined up, so grab a coffee, kick back, and let's break it all down in that laid-back, no-nonsense style you know and love. Let's get into it. Kicking things off with a blockbuster, President Trump's gearing up to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska on August 15th to tackle the Russian-Ukraine war. This summit's got the world on edge with hopes it could pave the way for a ceasefire in a conflict that's been grinding on for years. Trump's been pushing hard, even dropping a 10-day ultimatum to Putin earlier this week to get to the table. Social media is buzzing. Some see this as a bold shot at peace. Others think it's a long shot with both sides dug in. The backstory is intense on this one. Trump's flexed some muscle, deploying U.S. nuclear submarines near Russia to set the stage. He's made it clear he wants the bloodshed to stop, even saying Ukrainian President Zelensky doesn't need to be in the room for initial talks. Global markets are jittery, and European leaders are urging more pressure on Russia before any deals are inked. It's a high-wire act, and everyone's watching to see if it's a game-changer or just a photo op. Reactions are all over the map. Some folks on social media are calling it a historic chance to end a brutal war, while skeptics point out that Ukraine's not budging on its demands. India's government is backing the summit, hoping for a breakthrough, but some European allies want tougher sanctions first. Alaska's a symbolic choice, neutral ground, far from the front lines, but close enough to show U.S. strength. The stakes couldn't be higher. Whether this meeting brings a handshake or a stalemate, it's a massive moment for Trump's presidency. If he can pull off something concrete, it could redefine his legacy. For now, we're all holding our breath to see what's going on in today's meeting. Will it be a step towards peace or just more headlines? Stay tuned, this one's far from over. Next up, President Trump's taken a big swing at crime in Washington, D.C., ordering National Guard troops onto the streets starting August 8th. It's a bold move to curb violence in the Capitol, with Trump pointing to rising crime stats as the reason. The deployment's got people talking, with some cheering the tough stance and others calling it a step too far. D.C.'s been grappling with violent crime spikes, and Trump's team says the Guard will back up local police. They're targeting high crime zones and issues like drug trafficking tied to immigration. Social media is split. Some D.C. residents are relieved, saying it's about time, while others are uneasy about troops patrolling their city, worrying that it erodes local control. The sight of soldiers in the Capitol streets is jarring, no doubt. Critics, including some city officials, argue this sets a risky precedent, giving the feds too much sway over a city already under unique federal oversight. Supporters point to Trump's promise to restore safety, saying D.C.'s police need the help. Online chatters hinting at similar moves in other cities like Chicago, but for now, D.C.'s the testing ground. It's a real experiment in public safety. If crime drops, this could be a win for Trump's law and order push. If it backfires, expect louder debates about civil liberties and federal power. D.C.'s under a microscope, and every step's being watched. Let's see how this shakes out on the ground. Over in the Middle East, Israel's announcement on August 8th to take full military control of Gaza City has set off a global firestorm. Prime Minister Netanyahu's aiming to crush Hamas for good, but the UN, Germany, and others are slamming the move, with some countries halting weapons shipments to Israel in protest. It follows deadly strikes on Palestinians seeking aid, making a tense situation even hotter. Gaza's humanitarian crisis is brutal. The UN says no aid's reached the region in over 5 months, with malnutrition deaths climbing. 26 killed this week alone while seeking food. Social media is flooded with gut-wrenching images and calls for a ceasefire, as the Gaza Health Ministry reports more starvation deaths. The world's pleading for peace, but Israel's holding firm, prioritizing security. Netanyahu says occupying Gaza City is the only way to stop Hamas attacks, but the UN's human rights chief warns of catastrophic consequences. Germany's airdropping aid to ease the famine, but it's a drop in the bucket. Trump's hinted Israel's open to some ceasefire terms, though details are thin, leaving the U.S. in a tricky diplomatic spot. This one's heavy. The human toll's heartbreaking, and the geopolitics are messy with protests growing and allies clashing. It's not just about Israel and Hamas. It's about where the world draws the line. This story's going to keep making waves. Big news out of Texas this week. On August 11th, Texas Republicans pushed through new electoral maps in the state house after Democrats ended a nearly 2-week walkout that had stalled the process. The GOP-led redistricting plan, accused of gerrymandering, is set to reshape U.S. House districts, and it's got folks fired up on both sides. Governor Greg Abbott's calling it a win for fair representation, while Democrats warn it's a power grab. The fight started when Democrats broke quorum to block the maps, saying they dilute minority voting power, especially in fast-growing Hispanic communities. After intense negotiations, enough Democrats returned to Austin on August 11th to allow a vote, though many still opposed the plan. The maps passed with a slim majority, locking in boundaries that critics argue favor Republicans for the next decade. Social media is buzzing. Some Texans praise the GOP for getting it done. Others slam Democrats for caving in the matter. This redistricting battle's been a national lightning rod. The new maps could shift several congressional seats in the GOP's favor, especially in suburban areas where demographics are changing fast. Legal challenges are already brewing, while civil rights groups vowing to take the maps to court, claiming they violate federal voting rights laws. Online, debates are raging about whether this is smart politics or an attack on fair elections. This is about who holds power in Texas and beyond. The maps are set for now, but court fights could drag on, and the 2026 midterms will test their impact. For Texans, this isn't just lines on a map. It's about whose voice counts. Expect this story to keep simmering. This next one's got folks talking. Ghislaine Maxwell, tied to the Epstein case, was moved to a lower security prison in Texas on August 8th. Her lawyers are highlighting that she was never interviewed by investigators, which has people speculating about what she knows and why she stayed quiet. The Epstein saga still feels like a puzzle with a lot of missing pieces. The transfer's timing raises eyebrows, especially since a DOJ meeting about releasing Maxwell's interview transcripts was canceled. Some think it hints at the feds hiding sensitive info, while others see it as a routine prison logistics. Social media is a mess. Some are mad she's in a softer facility, others are convinced she's got dirt on big names that's being buried. Trump's distanced himself, saying he cut ties with Epstein's over a business dispute years ago, but the public's still hungry for answers. Why no interview? What's in those files? The lack of clarity is fueling conspiracy theories online, and this move's only adding fuel. It's a story that refuses to fade. Maxwell's case keeps showing how murky justice can feel when powerful players are involved. Whether this transfer means something bigger or not, it's got people asking questions that won't quit. This one's not over yet. On the economic front, a weak July jobs report dropped on August 8th, showing sluggish growth and rising unemployment. President Trump wasn't thrilled, firing Bureau of Labor Statistics Commissioner Erica McIntyre, claiming the numbers were phony. It's a bold move that's got folks on both sides raising concerns. The report showed job growth falling short of expectation, rattling markets already uneasy from global trade shifts. Trump's team says the data has been skewed to paint the economy worse than it is, pointing to stronger household income growth under his watch compared to Biden's. Critics, though, say firing the commissioner risks politicizing economic stats, which could backfire. Social media is divided. Some are backing Trump, saying he's calling out bad data to protect workers. Others warn it undermines trust in institutions, with economists worried about the signal it sends. With trade tensions adding uncertainty, the next report's going to be a big one to watch. This hits everyone's wallet. If trust in the numbers tank, it could make planning tougher for businesses and families. Trump's playing hardball, but whether it pays off depends on what the data shows next. Let's hope for some brighter numbers soon. RFK Jr., now HHS Secretary, made headlines this week by banning mercury-based items from vaccines and scrapping a Biden-era hospital vaccination reporting program. Announced around August 8th, these changes are a nod to vaccine skeptics, but have health experts up in arms. It's classic RFK Jr., bold and polarizing. This ban targets old concerns about mercury in vaccines. Though the CDC says it's safe in small doses and hasn't been widely used in years, social media is split. Some call it a step towards transparency, others fear it could spark vaccine hesitancy. This is about more than vaccines. It's about trust in the system. RFK Jr.'s base says he's shaking up a broken health establishment, while critics argue he's risking public health gains. Online, you've got cheers from supporters and warnings from doctors about potential disease spikes. Flu season's coming, and this could get messy. RFK Jr.'s making waves, and these moves could change how Americans view vaccines and healthcare oversight. It's a risky play, and we'll see the fallout in hospitals and clinics soon. This one is worth watching closely. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene stirring the pot with 3 bills introduced on August 7th. She's pushing to criminalize weather modification, mandate a citizens-only census for redistricting, and require proof of citizenship for voting. It's a bold package aimed at election reform and national security, but it's got folks divided. The weather modification bill is a bit out there, tied to theories about cloud seeding and climate control. The census and voting bills hit at hot-button issues like immigration and election integrity. Greene's backing Trump's call for a new census that excludes non-citizens, saying it ensures fair representation. Social media is a battleground. Some call it patriotic, others see it as voter suppression. Critics say these bills could face legal hurdles, especially on voting rights, given existing laws. Supporters argue they're long overdue to protect American sovereignty. Greene's framing these as part of a Make Elections Great Again push, and with Congress set to debate soon, expect some heat. The census idea's got traction among conservatives, but it's a tough sell in a divided House. This is pure MTG. Big ideas, bigger reactions. Whether these bills pass or crash, they're driving the conversation about what it means to be an American and who gets a say. Keep an eye on Capitol Hill. This one's gonna get loud. Another heartbreaking story hit this week. On August 10th, a gunman killed 4 people at a bar in Anaconda, Montana before fleeing. The suspect, a 45-year-old man, is still on the loose, and this small town's reeling. It's a stark reminder of how fast tragedy can strike, even in quiet places. The shooting turned a lively bar into a nightmare with victims caught off guard during a normal night out. Police and the FBI are in full-on manhunt, with roadblocks and tips pouring in. Social media is heavy with grief as locals share tributes and others debate gun laws versus community safety measures. Anaconda's tight-knit, so this hits extra hard. The mayor's calling for unity, but with the suspect still out there, fear's lingering. Online, some push for stricter gun policies, while others argue for better mental health resources. The lack of a clear motive's making it tougher to process, and the community's on edge waiting for answers. These shootings keep forcing us to wrestle with guns, safety, and what's breaking in our society. Anaconda's mourning, and we're all hoping they catch this guy soon. Our thoughts are with the victims' families as they navigate this loss. Maybe it's time we started taking mental illness seriously. Wrapping up with a developing story, an explosion at a U.S. steel coking plant near Pittsburgh on August 11th left several people trapped under rubble, according to local officials. Emergency crews are working around the clock, but details on casualties and the cause are still unclear. It's a scary moment for a community tied to the steel industry. The blast shook Clairton, a town where the plant's a major employer. First responders are battling to rescue those trapped, with reports of significant structural damage. Social media is filled with locals sharing prayers and frustration, with some calling for better safety regulations and others worried about the plant's future in an already struggling industry. U.S. Steel's under scrutiny, as this isn't the first safety issue at their facilities. Online, there's chatter about aging infrastructure and whether federal oversight's been tough enough. The company's promised a full investigation, but for now, the focus is on the rescue effort and supporting affected families. This is a gut punch for Clairton and the steel industry. It's a reminder of the risk workers face and the ripple effects on small towns when things go wrong. We're hoping for good news on the trapped workers and some answers on what happened. Well, folks, that's the rundown on the top 10 news stories in the United States from August 8th to August 15th, 2025. From global diplomacy to local tragedies, it's been a week that's kept us on our toes. Thanks for tuning in to Just a Dude in the News. I'm Nathan, just a guy trying to help keep you informed and inspired. Hit up social media and let me know what stories hit you the hardest. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and keep being awesome.